जी, वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
Hey. Hello. Today's topic is advertising trends in Pakistan, and I welcome all of you on the CxO Global Forum. And this is my first experience to moderate on this forum. Monday we were there in this forum. I was there as a speaker for marketing strategies for sales and marketing strategies of Pakistan. So Jordan was also there. So before moving forward and waiting for another gentleman who is just joining us in a while, uh, let's start with this few preambles. Like this session will last for 1 hour. Um, if you want to participate within the discussion, you people can raise your hand. Or it's a very we have very few people, so you can jump into the discussion by yourself by looking at the situation of the discussion and the pace of the discussion. Um, uh, I want to keep it a little open-handed, but there are a few things that you already been communicated. The type of the question and what are the questions we are going to start. Oh well. Uh, let's start. I'm sure you will join in a while. So let's start with the Jordan. May I ask you to introduce yourself? We come to know that what the wonders that you are doing.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jordan Olivas. I'm the co-founder and executive chairman at QisstPay. We're the largest buy now, pay later solution in Pakistan and also the first to receive the buy now, pay later license in the industry. I have over a decade of sales and marketing experience leading teams for major retailers, working on really specializing in what I call growth, which everyone knows is growth marketing, right? So it is, how do you not just go out and put a billboard out or put an ad out, but how do you, from a very data-driven perspective, drive conversion through proper data engineering? And so we will take multiple segments of a customer. Within those segments, we'll take 6 different tests and a control group, and we will go out and actually test our marketing efforts against that segment to find out what makes them convert most frequently. So we do this today for several large brands. We work with a multi-billion-dollar company, a retailer in the U.S., so custom Shopify, things like that. But my whole background is really sales and marketing, especially in the e-com and fintech industries. Looking forward to this discussion.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. It's a very remarkable introduction, and you have done a lot of things, and I expect very interesting and very fruitful contribution in this forum today's session. May I ask Mr. Muhammad Hussain for the brief introduction? So, Muhammad Hussain, over to you, please.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you very much, Iftikhar sir, for inviting me for this very informative session. My name is Mohammad Hussain, and I am the CEO and co-founder and founder of the Boundless Technologies, and we are running a digital agency from the 2 decade over in Pakistan. We are providing in the different services in the different sectors like social media, SEO, domain and hosting solutions. And indeed, we have our advertising agency over here. We design the DVCs and TVCs as well, and also we offering the complete strategy based solution for the client sites. And also we are winning a award winning digital agency for the last 3 years. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much.
MashaAllah, Muhammad Saab, it's a very huge and very smart intro. And MashaAllah, you are doing a wonderful job. And I know your company. They are really doing a wonderful job here. Uh, um, Over to Fahad, please. Fahad, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me on the session today. I'm based in Sydney, obviously brought up and raised in Pakistan, started my career in Pakistan, and I have been in the media and communication industry for like almost 23 years now. So, and I've worked with WPP, which is world's largest media holding group. So I have worked very closely with Ogilvy, JWT, YLMR. I was on the media side, and currently I'm working as managing director for Asia Pacific, Orion Worldwide, which is a business entity of IPG Media Brands. If you all have must have heard about McCann Erickson and Initiative, all those brands. So that belongs to IPG Media Brands, and that's where I'm right now working. So yeah, very something which I'm really passionate about. Needless to say, because it's been 23 years that I've been doing it. So yeah, our core job is to work with the brands and the clients that I have worked with over the past so many years, like Unilever, P&G, L'Oreal, Nestle, and Spotify, Amazon. So all the multinational clients, some really prominent names. And yeah, it's been a great journey, and I'm looking forward to this session today.
Thank you very much, Fahad. So, Mover and shakers of the industry are here on the forum. I'm glad to, and I'm privileged to moderate you guys, those who have experience. Let's start. I think Adnan Zaidi is also joining us. Today's topic is, the advertising trends in Pakistan. The topic is very vast and the scope of the topic is too high. But just to keep our discussion concise and to conclusive, I must say, let's start with this point. The advertising concept, or for the last decade or 2 decades, the real essence of the advertising is being changed. The canvas is bigger now. So, and the landscape of the advertising strategies is three, four folds. So I believe that there are a lot of things to share by all of you. Before moving ahead, uh, Adnan Zaidi, I think he joined. Adnan Saab, Assalamu alaikum. Adnan Saab. I think Adnan Saab is not cannot listen. Okay. So there are several key factors that influence advertising trends in Pakistan, and the top of all is the digitalization. So all of you have a very vast experience of digitalization and the communication on advertising and communication on digital media. So there is a diversity as well on digital and the conventional form of advertising that I used to do 20 years back with Orient and with the JWC and all these big names. But now there's a whole game is differently changed. So so moving forward, I would like to ask Jordan that you start with that. What do you think that how the digitalization has changed the canvas of the advertising and in Pakistan? Please,
Yeah,
Jordan.
yeah, absolutely. So, look, I think like everyone knows Pakistan is a different market, right? But I think where a lot of people get disconnected with that sentiment is that Pakistan is not any different than any other country in advertising in terms of the approach that you take to find results. Now, the actual messaging, right, that the way you deliver that message is obviously very different, but the process and the logic behind what's effective is no different across the world. And I know this because I've done it there, I've done it in the US, I've done it in Europe, all over, right? And at the end of the day, right, it's all about taking a data-driven approach to marketing, right? It's not just saying, it's for branding and awareness. No, like if you can't draw the dollars back to what you're getting out of it, then either your process is broken or you're not getting enough return on your investment. And I'll give you a great example of that. So everyone knows what loyalty is, right? I think it's fairly common kind of everywhere you go. It's not as popular in Pakistan maybe, but giving the example of every time you buy something from our store, you will get 1 point for every dollar that you spend in loyalty points, right? Now, the way most people think about loyalty is that it is a earn-burn tier system, meaning I earn the points, I then spend the points, and then if I'm a little bit more complex, I might have a tier system. So if you spend this much or do these actions, you're at this level. If you do whatever, you're at the next level, right? And you have different rewards based upon that. Now, where we derive things very differently at QisstPay is we don't view it like that, right? What we want to say is loyalty is not about just getting a customer to come back in. Loyalty is about redemption of coupons, right? And we partner very closely with Sears and Shop Your Way in the US, which are brands people are probably familiar with. And they have one of the strongest loyalty platforms out there, which they call Telluride. And what it does is really, really phenomenal, right? Is that you look at this data set, so you got a million customers in your database, right? So you'll take a group of 50,000 people, right, in a certain segment, however you want to classify them based off of some certain characteristics. And what you'll do is you'll actually go through the entire data set, right, and say, I'm going to take a group of 50,000 people. And we want to say with a 95% confidence level that there is a 5% margin of error. So what that means is that when we test these groups of 50,000 people and we provide like different messaging, different images, different offers, we need to have 382 people to respond to that in a positive manner to get a significance, right? So that same population with a 10% margin of error, we only need 96 responses. So that means is like, so if I send an email to 50,000 people and 10% open that email, which gives us the 5,000 people, out of that 5,000 people, we need 384 people to positively react to that messaging and say, yes, there's a statistical significance as to choosing the color blue for the homepage for the banner on the top of the email, right? It's because we say blue based on our brand resonates well with our customers, right? And from that, now I can say is these group of people who resonate well with the color blue, I actually don't need to give them 40% off to get them to come into my store. I can give them 20% off and they're still going to convert. So what I've done now is by running these tests and following this process, regardless of geography, I've reduced my cost of customer acquisition by 50%. And that's the expertise that QisstPay uses, that Sears uses. And this is why so many brands globally even partner with us, is because we want to take a look at the global market and see who has the best practices across the nation and leverage tools like Telluride to really drive, that value home. And so, I think that's where it's changing, right? And that's what's different now is that there's so much data available that if you don't follow the data, you're just burning money.
Okay,
I get some feedback. Quite hear you. I can't hear your microphone.
Iftikhar sir, your voice is not clear. Can't hear you. The music is coming from the background. I think your mic is not working. Your headphone is working, your mic is not working. Jordan, your mic is off. Jordan, your mic is
Go ahead. Go ahead and mute it.
because maybe. सर आप दोबारा से रिकनेक्ट कर लें जब तक जॉर्डन जो है इस सेशन को आगे लेकर चलते हैं। आप रिकनेक्ट कर लें, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही फिर।
I think Iftikhar has to move
अपना
it.
माइक म्यूट कर दें इफ्तिखार साहब।
Yeah. So let me just a second. Yeah, the mute. There we go. Thank you. Fahad, sorry, running a little technical difficulties. We'll get that figured out. Fahad, yeah. So what is your opinion? How do you think things have changed? And do you think that there is is there really a big difference in different regions? And how do you overcome those regional differences when you look at, advertising spend and marketing strategy?
So, see, Jordan, the thing is, yes, of course, it varies from market to market. As you correctly mentioned, the process hasn't changed. But when you talk about has digitization changed advertising, so the answer would be yes, because attention spans are really small. Obviously, at a larger scale, you're talking with brands about in most countries, maybe not in Pakistan at this point in time. People are talking about attention matrices, and the clients are calculating that, and based on that, they are calculating how effective the advertising is or was. Like obviously because the attention spans and the flow of content on social platforms are so high that generally what I have seen in Pakistan, and I used to work with clients, and we have this thing that whenever the client makes a TVC, if it's like a 45-seconder or 60-seconder, they used to upload the same on their digital platforms. That's not the right strategy, I would say, because people hardly watch a content for 60 seconds or a commercial for 60 seconds on digital platforms. So you need to have a digital strategy, and you need to have a different strategy because you are actually establishing your message, which is a thematic through a television, but your digital background or digital strategy has to be short form, and it has to supplement your TV communication. And that's where digital has made the difference, because you have to make multiple variations for your content to get registered, so that and you have to say a lot more in 10 to 15 seconds rather than going for a 60-seconder. So you cannot exactly replicate what's on TV on digital, and that's how things have changed, right? And like especially on platforms like YouTube, and you go to other platforms where there are like skippable ads. So if you put a longer duration ad, obviously it's like people take 2 or 3 seconds to skip. I mean, I could see the media consumption habits of my son, and while they're playing a game and ad appears, it takes like 1 second for them to click. And I often tell them that if you find out that how hard your dad works to make sure that you see this brand, you just take 1 second to skip those ads, right? So, but that's how actually the media is evolving. And with AI coming in, things are going to get a lot more difficult. It's going to be efficient, but going to be a lot more difficult. And then in a market like Australia, where I worked for quite some time, Australia has already introduced addressable TV concept. It's already in there in US, it's already there in UK. And with addressable TV, I mean, what you are doing is you are going hyper targeted. You are targeting even suburb level. So if you only want to target 3 suburbs in Sydney, and you don't want to target another 80 suburbs, you are going hyper targeted in those 3 suburbs, saving a lot of money for the client, and very specific to who you want to talk to, who you want to address. So there is no blanket targeting. You don't have to go to national advertising, but it's a whole cyclical thing, because if you go hyper targeted, the thing is, yes, the TV spend has started decreasing because you don't have to spend $100, which we used to spend. Now we need $60. Because obviously 40 can be saved, then 40 can be channelized into some other mediums more effectively. So of course, digitization has changed a lot. The process of brand awareness and the same things, that will remain, because that's the core key KPIs and the metrics for any brand. So that wouldn't change. How you achieve that metric, that has become far more difficult because of multi-channel things and access to people. People are watching mobile at the same time. People are watching TV on mobile. There are multiple devices, multiple platforms people are accessing. So getting your message across has become far more challenging, and in a sense, even more costlier, because you can't leave out any platform, because you can't lose out the consumer. So you have to go a very widespread. It just has to be strategized better.
Absolutely. And leading into AI, Adnan, would love to hear your feedback on how AI is going to change content creation, but also the data-driven aspects around advertising and marketing.
So
Now,
from
am
my
I?
perspective,
Can you hear me?
Mic is
Right.
yeah.
yeah. Thank
Thank you for giving me the chance to speak on this
yeah.
live forum regarding the.
First, please introduce yourself, Nanza. First, you introduce yourself. You joined little later,
Okay.
so and then continue
Right.
for the next question.
So I'm Adnan Zaidi. I have done my software engineering 23 years back, and then I've worked around 15 years in media industry with the media bank and the media monitors. Right, we have done lots of things in the Pakistan media industry with its bigger achievement like the rating system and monitoring the data and all that. And then I entered into the AI domain. In 5 years, I started learning the new things, and then become the student of PhD in my final phases. And I also achieved the Kaggle Grandmaster, which is the world's largest AI/ML platform. So you people might know what is Kaggle and what is actually the Grandmaster. So, from my perspective, that the forum is really designed very well regarding a combination of AI and advertising. Now, the industry has a major change, the total dynamics from the television to digital media, and then is more focused on the content or minute level, how the user behave or respond on the specific advertisement. So, in the conventional age, if you are talking about like television, there was some time slots, and we have like the prime time and some prime programs. So the people or advertiser were focused on that area where the audience is higher. Later on, there comes a new technology which is called like people meter, the rating system of the industry, which changed the whole time slot and time barcode, right? And now, from that perspective, industry shifted from television towards the digital end. We have seen like in the past 5 years, the television industry cut down their cost and budgets and started like 10% on the digital, then 20% on digital. And I know most of the companies like 50% on the digital side and 50% on the television. So the television industry is falling down. At the other end, digital industry is their increasing their revenues and their streams. From creative point of view, now we are entering towards new aesthetics. Like the consumer, the customer need to watch the relevant ads. They have their own, you can say, their own recommendation engines. So I can walk, I can see, I can watch the relevant ad which we have, which the products I'm searching on the Google, which products I'm looking at the Facebook. So the digital platform has total changed its own strategy. In the same way, if you talk about like Netflix ads, so they have the different creative for the different audience, right? It's some sort of like multilingual thing. So they can cover up all the audience with respect to the language as well. So we are going in advertising industry. We are going more deeper, more in depth from the socio-economical classes, from the linguistics, and from the thought process, how the consumer is thinking on a specific product. So that's my key input that I was thinking to share with all. Yes.
Thank you, Adnan Sahab. बहुत शुक्रिया. Adnan Sahab, would you like to add, because you send a message that you have another commitment. So I want to ask another question from you, if everyone allows. Adnan Sahab, do you have some in mind that the few successful campaigns that ran on digital, and was not very successful on television. Is there any campaign that you have in mind that very successful on digital, but not very successful or up to the mark on television or the conventional media?
Right, right. So the campaigns which has like a broader range, for example, if we talk about the e-commerce store, if we talk about like food chain and food supply, so the people who have a great business in term of a large canvas, large profile, so they need to market digitally with a specific audience. So the 1,000 people can see the first brand and 1,000 people can see the second brand. So lots of bigger brand, yeah, multi-brand companies are successful in digital. For uni brand or singular entities, the companies are successful on the television. But in the end, the advertiser is thinking more about on digital. They are focusing on the target consumer, so that the message can be conveyed on the relevant people or directly to the correct audience, which is going to buy the same product. So it is what I feel. It is more shifting towards digital, more in segregated and
Yeah,
segmented
yeah,
area.
but Tanzar,
Yeah.
do you have any specific brand in mind that have a tremendous results on
Like if you
digital?
talk about in Pakistan we have
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
like
In
Food
Pakistan,
Panda,
yes.
Grocer, and Daraz app. They have a successful distribution in digital side. But if you talk about like Racket, PNG, and other things, they are on television side. And if we talk about some mixed example, which have the Coke and Lux, and some of the brands are still on the both end.
Okay, thank you. So nice of you, Adnan. Uh,
Thank you.
if I would like to ask a question from Muhammad Hussain, uh, that do you have any remarkable, any tremendous campaign that ran on digital and very success story on digital rather than on the conventional, although they were on conventional television or the conventional advertising mode before?
Thank you, Iftikhar Munir Saab. Basically, we are working for more the SME side, not for the corporate and the FMCG website, FMCG customers. We have some success stories. They are working from the traditional marketing for the starting from the newspaper and the televisions, and now they are working on the digital. So digital advertising is creating the more opportunities for the all companies. In the back years we are talking about the conventional marketing. They use only the top companies because the budget is very high. Now the digital advertising providing opportunity to the small companies to advertise the products and the right to find the right customer. They obviously the TV is not providing the customer persona development, that there is no target audience. The TV televisions only the prime time option we have is available. Then you have an audience and you have option to cover the audience on the that time slots. But on the digital advertising or digital advertisements, you have an option to target your audience on your design personas. Not that you have an open budget and you burn out the thousands of rupees and you don't get the good results. But right now the digital advertisement is providing the good solutions for all the companies and with the low budget as well, because it's not looking for the good and the big budgets for go for the advertisement. So I feel this is a very good opportunity for the new companies as well, and obviously the more competition for the big giants as well. The small companies are jumping with the small budgets and they grow up. The lots of small companies that grow up, like I know some of the companies, the e-commerce companies like QuickPay, one of the Pakistan company, the providing the payment gate as well. They are starting from a small setup, then they move. Right now they are planning on the big TV screens as well, and they advertisement on the. So they are improving the advertisement budgets, but they start from the very low side and the from the digital advertisement. So highly recommend for those companies. They are still thinking we start the advertisement on the digital side or the commercial side. So they start from the advertisement on the soon and they get the good results. Then they move on the forward.
So I have a point here. I mean, Hussain has got a valid point of, starting off with small budgets, but uh, the general observation is what's happening in Pakistan is right now. A lot of digital spend has grown exponentially, which is fantastic. But then you'd also need to see that the basic growth has been happening on the global platform, which is Google and Facebook. Although their algorithms and their offerings are amazing, again, they have added a lot of value for small, medium enterprises. But I mean, if you talk about the overall proposition for a bigger brand, one thing is that they don't get the data, right? So what is not happening in Pakistan and which should happen more is to develop a local publisher base, because the first party data stays with you. In this case, these are like walled gardens. You get data, what they want you to see. Beyond that, you don't have access to data. So all it does sits with either Facebook or Google, whichever platform you're using. So that's who have obviously Australia is one of the case, but markets like Singapore, markets like Thailand, Japan, where I work very closely with. So these markets have struggled, but at the same time, they have made really, really strong efforts to build their own assets, right? If you look at Pakistan TV channels, none of them have a streaming offering, even to date, like it's 2023. They are all linear. If you move on to markets like even Malaysia and Philippines, they have their own CTV platforms because they're getting the first party data. How brands connect with the consumer depends a lot. You need to have data to get your brand to the consumer. If you don't have the data, you really can't do much. And then obviously, if you talk about multi-channel measurement, which is TV and digital together, it's globally, it's even struggle. I mean, a market like North America still doesn't have answers to that exactly. A lot of people are using different matrices and different tools. So there's no uniform method. So when you talk about digital, so Pakistan has go a long way in terms of strategizing the market. So that's what my point is. Digital has grown, but the growth, exponential growth, unless it's channelized into a particular direction, it can become highly commoditized, just like TV. Because I mean, I started media planning from the days when we used to have only PTV, and in front of me, obviously, we saw the launch of Indus Music and Indus Vision, and then ARY came into the picture. So I have seen that growth of channels from 1 to 3 to 5, 7 to 23. But as of now, TV industry is unstable because obviously it was not planned well. DTH never came to Pakistan, right? We never had pay TV system in Pakistan. So same is happening in digital. The spends are growing, but if you do not have a strategy as an industry right now, again, you will struggle a lot.
Yeah,
That's
Fahad,
what
you
my
are right.
take is.
But
Yes, Fahad, you
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah.
but I'm just adding one thing. I'm 100% agree with you. We have to create some of the policies or some of the bodies to design this.
Yeah,
But this is a new baby right now for the Pakistani, and we are still in the learning
Yeah,
position.
that is
As
my
you know,
point. Yeah.
so exactly, we need some time, or obviously we are not well educated on this sector right now. We are just waiting for the good resources. They come to on the different countries, come to Pakistan and implement these type of processes. And this is the untapped market, and this is a very good market over here. So obviously,
absolutely.
your idea is very good, and the listener have opportunity to adopt your one of the idea and launch the product as
And
well.
explore more on that.
Exactly.
Okay,
Right.
one thing I would like to add that yes, it's a new for our country, but this is the high time. This is the high time that we have to work on it. And as Fahad mentioned, and Mohammed Hussain also, you raised a very relevant point. I would like to move little forward, and I would like to add Jordan in the discussion. That Jordan, you are working, although they have all of us are working multinationally and in the different countries. But Jordan, you are sitting there, and how you can share your experience while dealing with the cultural differences here in Pakistan and in the rest of the other part, and how the advertiser in Pakistan is handling it now that there is no boundaries. There is boundaryless communication. There's a boundaryless businesses. So how do you see? Over to you, Jordan, please.
Yeah, I so I kind of have an unfair advantage because I do look like I'm from the KPK a bit. So like I kind of I when people come talk to me and we start talking about business, like, oh, you work at QisstPay, right? Oh, you from Pakistan? People think I have like some family here or there, but no, I'm not from there at all. So when I come in, it's really from really an American focus aspect, and that's how we run our sales teams, our marketing teams, and everything else. And I think that kind of going back to my first comment, right? When you look at advertising and marketing, I don't think enough people locally look at the globally available tools that are there, right? It'll kind of be the typical response that we get is, oh, we do Facebook marketing, right? We run some ads and, we have some leads that come in. I have a lead magnet or whatever it may be, whether you're doing D2C, B2B, right? It all goes back down to, there's a lot of great tools out there that are very inexpensive and sometimes even free, right? That you can use to go out there and find statistical significance around how to convert your customer, right? And for example, when it comes down to B2B, I am not actually a big fan of paid ads for B2B sales. There are some people that love it, but every time I've done the ROI on trying to get it, it never works out. I find that direct sales, email calling, all that other stuff works way better, in my opinion. However, you still need an online presence, and you have to figure out what your users are engaging with, right? And I think when you're trying to advertise, especially in Pakistan, I think getting out of the mindset that people, I find that it's interesting. I work in several countries, and Pakistan seems to have this mentality the most, where it's, oh, well, Pakistan's different. And they use that sentence, not everyone, but I find it very regular, they use that as an excuse to validate their reason as to why they don't want to grow and learn, right? So common, right? And so it's, I think if people get out of that mindset, like if you go on there, if you can learn, I'll give you a great example. So there's this awesome tool. If y'all listening have not heard about it, it's called Braze. Awesome company, enterprise tool. It's expensive, right? But it's really a phenomenal tool. When we launched Braze in Pakistan, I think we were the first ones to use it in Pakistan. And this is an enterprise tool used by all largest companies. And we tried hiring some people that knew Braze. 0 results in LinkedIn a couple of years ago. I think Jazz or Jazz Cash recently picked it up. So the only people that know Braze now work at Jazz or Jazz Cash. If you can up-level your skills, even if you're not using that exact tool, and you need to understand the logic behind why it's important, right? And understand what like a customer data platform is, like a CDP, and understand what all these analytics tools are, and actually use them beyond just, here's my funnel, I'm going to look at it and get some more ads out, and actually being very deliberate. And so if you look at QisstPay, like we have a group on for QisstPay where we go out and we run iterative tests all day, right? Little tiny changes to text, little tiny changes to images, and then we do the same thing with our merchants. So on our mall.QisstPay.com, which is our upcoming Duraz competitor for debit card installments, as an example, not formally launched yet, we do A/B testing directly on the website, not just on the homepage, but we'll actually change the messaging based on the customer to find out which one of those customer segments that go. Now, what you're not seeing in the background is that we are tracking that customer through their entire life cycle, right? So we know not only when they hit the website, we know what they're doing before, we know which merchants they're engaging with, right? And we look at that data. And so whenever you're engaging with us, we know, hey, where is this person coming from? All right, they're from Lahore. Okay, great. Hey, we see that they visited like XYZ fashion sites. We know that even though they haven't shopped with us, we know that they're browsing at women's clothing, right? So because of that, we take that intent. We say, all right, there's 20,000 other customers that are like this, and we'll start A/B testing. Hey, 20% off, 5% off, 7% off, and figure out what that magic number is to figure out what gets them to convert and what is their logic to do that. So I think stepping out of your comfort zone, really pushing forward, is what's going to help elevate you as a brand, because no one else in Pakistan is doing that.
Yeah. In Pakistan, because I've done the sales job. I'm doing sales job for last 30 years. So I know one thing I would like to add, that we are a fast learner. You people, I believe that all of you agree. We are fast learner, but we are late adopter. We are fast learner, but we are late adopter. So that is our problem. So this is, we all have experienced this in wherever we are working and we are experiencing. So I would like to move a little ahead, and I would like to throw this question to Mohammed Hussain. Adnan, are you available? Adnan, are you available? Adnan, Adnan, are you available? So I would like to throw this question to you.
Yes, give me a minute. I will join you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So what are the because you are the authority in AI as well. So what are the emerging trends in influencers marketing in Pakistan? Would you like to share a few with us? The emerging trends.
Yes, Iftikhar Sahab, I'm here. Sorry being disturbing you guys.
No problem. Have you heard my question?
Can you repeat it? Sorry.
Yeah. What are the emerging trends in influencer marketing in Pakistan?
For media industry?
Yeah. For advertising, of course. For influencer
Yeah,
marketing.
actually,
For influencer
if
marketing. Because
if
being
we
a part of the AI, because being a part of the AI fraternity, you are in the better position to answer that. How the AI is helping them to influence the market and the influencer marketing are taking its shape.
right in Pakistan, if we talk about AI, so it's more about automation, the things uh, to re-engineer the whole processes. The people are more interested in reducing the cost and optimizing the existing processes. From media point of view, the most of the people are started using generative AI, the things which has been like reducing the creative part. They are started thinking about like creating new ads with uh, runway ML or mid journey or talent, all that things. Right? So the Pakistan is more at the end of like cost savvy process, right? Whatever they have built, whatever they have been using the existing solution, they are thinking on the AI side with the cost saving and to enhance their capacity as well, so they can produce more and bigger things. And let me add one more challenge, which is like the language barrier. In still AI, we talk about like Chat GPT in English and in Urdu, Sindhi, and other multilingual regions. So Pakistan is also facing a big trouble in the language thing, right? There is a need of addition of some more conversational AI, the language part, the language understanding, language translation, and all that, right? Let me add one more thing. Like if you produce a television ad and drama which is in Urdu language, we have to reproduce it in Sindhi and then Pashto, and definitely it is missing the Chinese, Spanish, and the German or lots of other languages. So the other languages have some existing AI translations and AI modules, but in Urdu language we are lacking such kind of facilities.
Yeah, this is a big challenge, I'm sure. But one point, please, everyone is open to participate in that or add value in that. As far as the cost is concerned, Adnan said that the cost is Pakistan is a cost savvy market. Every market is a cost savvy, I believe, but the size of the market is too big. So Adnan sir, do you think that the CPM cost per million or the cost per person is lesser in Pakistan as compared to the other part of the world? So
Much
what is
less.
your
No,
take?
It is very cheap. I mean, if you talk about CPM, Pakistan is
Yeah,
quite
that is my point. Yeah.
obviously. See, that's the problem. See, the challenge is Pakistan's. If you talk about from a CPM perspective or CPV perspective, because obviously the conversion of dollar to rupee, the exchange rate hits a lot, right? And from day one, if you start working on very low CPM, what happens is the market doesn't grow because obviously the brands wouldn't spend if you are getting too much for too less. And that's what television industry has done. And when I was telling that what TV has done is happening in digital also, that's the challenge that I was talking about. Because see, if you talk about like content, it's a very simple conversation. When Netflix introduced their ad model last year, they were charging a $65 CPM, right? And when you talk about Pakistan, Pakistan is buying a video for $4 to $6. So now we need to understand the user-generated content and a premium content has a cost. You can't pay $6 for a premium content. That's why OTT platforms on a paid model in Pakistan would be a big challenge. Because if you operate net of 3 to 4 CPM, it's a difficult one for anyone to enter the market. So you obviously to answer your question on influencer marketing, again, influencer cannot be controlled. Right now, the higher cost is influencers because influencers keep changing their rate cards based on their popularity. From an AI perspective, now a lot of companies have are entering or planning to enter in Pakistan who will be providing a bespoke solution for influencer and the agency both to access the same platform. So their database will be available across social platforms, who are the followers and everything, and then agencies can access their account and can see who are the top influencers. So you don't have to do this work manually anymore, except for the talent management. And I mean, obviously, recently Group M has launched in Pakistan GOAT. Wali has entered the market with a Middle East company. All these companies are bringing in their technology and tech stack, which are making it easier to manage influencers. So within one platform, you could have like access to data of 100 or 200 influencers, depends. So yes, it is playing a very good major role because it brings along all the data from all the platforms in one platform. Instead of going and checking their Insta separately, checking their Facebook separately, you get all the details in one platform in one go. And that work has started in Pakistan. So Pakistan is not too far in this case. It's quickly adopting. And but obviously, if you talk about influencer marketing in other markets like in Indonesia, I mean, people often get confused that Indonesia is very big. The point is, Indonesia is 240 million people and Pakistan is 220 million people. But the progression of Indonesia, if you look at it, Indonesia has moved into live commerce, social commerce, and their e-commerce is massive, right? It's just 20 million people short. If you talk about it, Pakistan is 220 or 230 unofficially, and 240 is Indonesia. But again, it's the strategy that you have behind and how you're building up each capacity. Because what happens is, if you see a potential business area and then decide what to do, that's what hard thing. And most of the people, and obviously Hussain earlier mentioned that people have to come back to Pakistan and add value, which obviously someday I would love to. But I would refer to Jordan's conversation that people in Pakistan are not willing to listen to what you are telling them because they think that they know everything. And that's where the problem. And even if you're too skilled and you try to bring that value to Pakistan, there should be people who should be open to take that value from you, right?
Yep.
And that's what makes it difficult because industry has to progress once you learn.
Absolutely.
If that willingness
Fahad,
to
I
learn is
agree.
there.
I agree. Yes. One thing that we have to be a patient. We have to be a patient. But we have
Absolutely.
to understand that yeah, it is. This is the place. This is the
I am
place.
very patient. I spent like 17 years in Pakistan
Yeah.
before I left.
Love it.
Yeah, dynamics
Dynamics
is different here. Dynamics in Pakistan is different. Yes, I agree that it is very frustrating that you know a lot of things and the someone who is sitting in front of you, he doesn't know anything and he said that I know everything. So this is the scenario everywhere. And yeah, okay. Now this is the last spell of our question answer session. Not the question answer session, but I would like to throw one question to Mohammad Hussain Saab. Mohammad Hussain Saab, would you add what are the ethical considerations that the digital platforms are handling, and what are the ethical challenges that the advertiser is facing in Pakistan? Ethical challenges.
This is a very tricky question, Iftikhar Saab. Basically, ethical challenges people are also facing, or basically some of the policies of the advertisers like the Google and Facebook also we block on the ethical side as well. But this is a very tricky question, and exactly I don't have the exact answer right now for this, but. I'm also at the Fahad and Jordan. Like, we are very open and we are open to all this type of platform. Start the discussion and create the opportunity for the people also listening and creating the very good opportunity. I'm just add you Fahad, the one of the company a launch application for the influencer because you know the influencer charges are too much. They are asking the 2 million and 3 million. There is a no value. But the company is launch application. If you just enter the all the portfolio of the influencers, they give you the what they charge and what is the value they produce on your shot out or on your recording. So people are just buy the followers on the hundred of thousands, and they know there is no engagement, there is no viewships and nothing, but they charge too much because just because they are brands. So obviously, this type of companies are working over here. The agencies are better understand. Basically, straight again, we are just test and try in the mod. We just launch a different influencers. The big company has a big budget. The small company has a small budget. They are complaining we not get the good result from this influencer and this influencers. But now the companies are come over here and really analyze all the things. They are buy the tools as well, and they are much understanding. Really, we have to go with this influencer or this influencer. So this is a very good market for the influencers in the open market, and obviously the content creator jump in again and again with the new ideas and new concept.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
obviously,
Yep.
one day or very soon we settle this segment as well.
Yeah, Mohammed Sahab, yeah, this is again, I would say that this is a comparatively
If
a
you-
newer market.
I
Okay,
would like to
Adnan,
add.
Adnan
Yes.
would like to add in this. Adnan,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
over to you,
So,
please. Yeah.
if we talk about like auto-generated content, so it has more like the social impact, the religious impact, cultural impact. So all the things goes in the major ethical manner. So the background of like the society we are representing, the economical situation we have. So most of the factors are like it's more like ethical and definitely it is very difficult for AI to understand the things in every region. There must be a separate ad has to be placed, like if you have like a dress which is prohibited in some religion and the dress which is not prohibited, so you need to change the star as per the culture, as per the religion. So lots of ethical considerations are there. So I think AI can manage after some time, or it can handle such ethical manners in future. Right.
Okay, Adnan Sahab, as far as the AI is concerned, the Pakistan is such a dynamic market that AI is getting crazy.
Yeah.
Lot of things
Exactly.
from there, so it is hard for AI as well. So okay, now move to Jordan. Jordan, uh, can you add something in this ethical considerations of the advertising across the global platforms?
Yeah, absolutely. So I typically don't like to mix the terms business and ethical in the same sentence, because I think, business ultimately is capitalism, and capitalism also ultimately means making a profit, right? And so when you mix the word ethical, right? Ethical is very it's all about perspective, right? What's ethical in Pakistan may not be ethical in the U.S. or in Australia or
Yeah, yeah, of
Canada
course.
or Europe, right? But what I like to use instead, right? It's not that I don't believe in ethics, by the way, just to make that clear. I do believe in ethics, but what I'm referring to is how you put it together is more about cultural perspective, right? So it is when you match advertising with cultural perspective, and you think of more of a broader lens like that, I think you're trying to get a lot more nuance in who you're targeting, right? So for example, if I say, give you an example, so we do interest, I do low interest loans, right? On BNPL, we do, like, I think it's for the consumer, depending if you're like what your credit score is with us, we charge between 5% and 10%, right? Which is pretty good, right? That's, especially in this climate when the Fed rate in Pakistan is 22%, or the state bank rate is 22%. It's a really, ethically, it makes sense, right? But that doesn't resonate with people in Pakistan, right? But somehow if I label that as a processing fee, right, it doesn't make it any more or less ethical, but it makes it culturally relevant, right? So that when I talk about that, I think it's more about just, once again, it's about
Yeah,
segmenting
yeah,
culture.
yeah. Jordan, you are right. You are right. Yeah, it's two different terms, in fact, ethics and business. But I'm just I want to explain, or I want to ask one thing, that do's and don'ts of the regions are there. So in Pakistan, like this is the responsibility of the advertiser to have or to limit or to have their parameters to communicate with their audiences within that ethical values doesn't mean that that from Pakistan every communication should have a covered head woman or something like that. But we have a modest society, you know that. But few I have seen and experienced, we do, without taking any name, but it is you people also observe that ethical values, that the do's and don'ts that we have learned and we have experienced are not being practicing in Pakistan as such that we have seen in the other part uh, of the world. And the reason, I think, Fahad, would you like to add in it, that the reason behind is the regulation sort of things are not here in Pakistan for the digitalization as such at the moment, or something else?
So the thing is, like, obviously, first is code of conduct that every media has. While Pakistan also has it, nobody knows where it is right now. It must be parked somewhere. So that's the issue, right? But when you talk about ethics in advertising, again, I would refer to, because recent example in Australia, one of the channels have recently announced that they will stop airing all the alcohol ads and the betting ads, right? Because that's not responsible advertising. Now, betting is $1 billion industry in Australia. So a
Yeah,
broadcaster taking a conscious call of not taking any betting ads, and then obviously alcohol is also a big industry which is allowed to
yeah.
advertise after 10 p.m. So shutting down two basic categories, that's a massive call, right? So that's what I would call ethics. Now, let's talk about ethics in artificial intelligence. The whole world is talking about sustainability and reducing carbon footprint. When you talk about AI, has anyone ever asked that what's the kind of data churn and carbon footprint AI produces when you click one query and the servers start working, and how does that work? How are we maintaining that balance? That's what I called ethics.
Yeah,
So those are the conversations, and obviously the governance process. It will take some time in AI. We still need to figure out how things are going to work out. There are pros and cons. We have to maintain a balance. It is adding efficiency. So ethical standards, I think, yeah, because Pakistan has a very tight culture. So obviously we always stay within the boundaries, and everybody's following that. You wouldn't. We have hardly seen commercials going off air, because so nothing derogatory, because it's a sensitive thing. Uh, However, if you're producing a separate content on digital, you can be bold. You can have different perspective because you're talking to global audiences in that case. uh, I see advertising of Pakistan as a big representative of who we are, because we are quite misunderstood globally. And we try to either, focus on dance and stuff to make it flashy. That's not who we are, and we are not representing ourselves properly. We have a whole heritage of hundreds of years, right? We have a culture, and which we are proud of. So advertising, when you are going on digital, it's your biggest opportunity to represent who you are. I mean, if you represent the same challenges, you have to show progression in Pakistan. You have to tell people that like 35% of Pakistani population can read, write, and speak English, which the world doesn't know. I mean, that's the first question that I was asked at Chicago airport the first time I landed, that how could you speak English? So, and I was coming from Pakistan, right? So those are the things that you have to communicate to the world, that there are PhDs in our market, in our country. There's a lot of progression happening. A lot of startups are obviously, current phase could be a bit struggling, but I wouldn't say this is going to prolong. It will
yeah.
end eventually. So
Fahad,
there is progression.
I must say, you are right, Fahad. You are right. And but one thing that we are missing is the regulation. That is the
Correct.
authorities' regulation. Intellectual
Absolutely.
properties must. Yeah, that is important. That is the missing part. Okay,
So
so this is
if
the
the
last.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Please carry on. Please
So that, I
finish
mean,
off.
I will quickly finish my point that regulatory body obviously there are bodies, but they are not very functional
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of their
That is
role right now.
action
So
speaks
that's
louder than words. Action speaks louder than words.
exactly.
That, as you mentioned,
So
we have a, Pakistan, people have a different concept of Pakistan, which is I think Jordan is also experienced the working with the Pakistani. Yes, obviously 10 out of 10 is, nobody is here, nobody in the world is 10 out of 10, I must say. But the
Oh, of
point
course.
is that, yeah, of course, like, but we are fast learner, but the dynamics are different. So, the size of the market is too big, which is a the big plus for the people and for everyone. For the last minute, very, very fantastic discussion is going on. It is very hard to leave this forum and the discussion. But the last minute, so may I ask Jordan to wrap it up, the whole discussion, that you be the part from the day, from the first minute. So over to Jordan, please.
Thank you. Well, thanks once again for putting together this great discussion, to everyone that came on to the panel. Once again, I think if you're going to go off, and like I said, I have a heavy sales background, right? So I mean, for me, I'm always fighting with the marketing team, and so it's, I kind of get to see the best and worst of both worlds. And I think if you take one thing away from this, I think from what everyone has said, right, is to just be open to change, right? Look at the tools that are out there. Don't think that you're in a vacuum within advertising and marketing, and take a look at the data. There's a lot there. Learn and understand what's out there. And I think if you're going to go out there, and before you spend $1 on Google AdWords or on really anything else related to that spend, understand your customer first. It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of money. Once again, thanks again for having this. It's been a really, really great discussion.
Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Fahad. Thank you, Adnan, Zaidi.
Thank you for
Muhammad
having
Hussain.
us.
Fantastic experience. This was my first as a moderator. Honestly, I think I peek my nose in every question, but I believe that it was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed, and I hope it was a learning experience for everyone, off air as well, and then it will be live, whoever is with us, and it will be up on YouTube and the other channels. So it will be a good experience for everyone. Thank you very much, and good. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.